What is going on, family? Welcome back to the channel. And boy, oh boy, have I got a special live today. As far as communities are concerned, it doesn't get any better than the COCORO family. And in this live stream, I have fully dedicated the whole live to one project only, and that's COCORO. But first of all, got a special guest in the building. Please allow me to introduce you to my amazing friend, Mickey, aka Blue Ice. What's going on, brother?
Yes, mate. How you doing, DXB, man? You good? Thanks for having us on, pal. And thanks for dedicating this space purely to COCORO, man. We appreciate it.
Now, it's all about communities. I mean, with the amount of work that you, Mexter, some of the other legends in our community, too many to mention because it is a CTO project. People forget that sometimes. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of giving. But I want to tell a quick story before we even talk about crypto. So I was scrolling through, as you do, I was in the trenches looking for whatever alpha. We've got an amazing community. And it's hard sometimes because crypto has been shit, let's be honest. Yeah. And I came across you in particular in kind of like a couple of different platforms, Telegram and also on X. And then I attended a Spaces. This was like in the early days when the project was just getting starting. And I kind of thought about some of the stuff that you were talking about. And then it came to mind, last week's Spaces or a few days ago, you were talking about supporting animal welfare charities or any form of charities. Actually, so the reason why I'm in COCORO is because of you, brother. And I want to thank you with the rest of the legends. But take us back to first of all, tell us about yourself, about your background, what you do, and sort of how you came across COCORO. And then we will jump into the early days of the project.
So I've been in the trenches for a bit. Probably not, I don't know about as long as you, man, but I've been in there for a while now. I do hold a lot of XRP. I do that's kind of my main bag, man. And no one's gonna ever fud me out of that, mate. No one can fud me out of anything I've got conviction in, mate. And that's definitely one of them. Memes I've been chasing for a while. Win some, lose some, right? It's a casino out there. The start of this year, when Trump came in, everyone was like, yeah, it was all bullish just before he came in. Like the end of the year, everyone was like, it's all gonna send. Didn't quite work out like that, did it? Really didn't. But hey ho, it is what it is. I kind of gave up with memes and I stuck all my Ethereum back over on Nexo, and I just thought, look, I'll just leave it there, keep it there, earn some passive income from it, and I gave up with meme coins. I genuinely did. Weren't really checking Telegram. Had a few friend chats and was kind of jumping in and out, and they were sharing plays, and I was like, I ain't interested. There's nothing that takes my fancy whatsoever. I'm done. And how many times we said this before? I'm done. I'm never fucking aping again. But I was in COCORO. I was part of the Telegram. I had it archived. It was in my archive on Telegram, but I joined it a while back, and I saw it. I think we shared it at about 3 mil, and I weren't interested though. I really wasn't. And then one of my friends in the chat said, "Oh, they're linking up with that Shiba Inu organization you bang on about." And then that piqued my interest because that Shiba Inu organization, Animal Shelter, they're the ones that actually rescued that Doge dog that belongs to like Kabosu Mama. He passed, and then they're the same organization that like rescued Nero, and they're the organization that actually rescued COCORO. And Kabosu Mama, Sato, she's the owner, or she was the owner of Doge. She's now the owner of Nero and COCORO. And as soon as I found that out, I was like, boom, I'm getting in there, because no one's ever really got hold of that organization. They don't really go on Shiba Inu. If you ever look at Shiba Inu info, like the Shiba Inu page, mate, they're not really into crypto. They don't shout about anything. All they do is good. They rescue animals and they help people. That's what they do. And they actually retweeted something of Mexter's, the COCORO, about like them helps supporting them. And that straight away got me interested in the projects. And as soon as I entered Telegram, like properly entered it and said, hi, what can I do for the project? And they was like, what can you do? I was like, look, I've got a voice. I can be your voice. I can be a speaker. And from that moment on, I've been doing like VCs and Spaces and meeting fantastic people like yourself, man. So, yeah.
I appreciate that, big man. Honestly, it's, it was amazing. I mean, you did the homework for me literally because, again, shout out to the entire community, but it was kind of like seeing how this was off your backs as a CTO project. How difficult, with your experience, obviously, in running the spaces, how difficult is it to manage a CTO? And what would you say are the rewards way greater with a CTO, with a harder work? You put the work in and you reap the benefits. Or tell us about your experience with a CTO compared to just buying a meme coin and sticking it in the wall.
I don't know, mate. This is different to a lot of CTOs because CTOs are hard work. They are hard work, especially when you don't have a narrative and you don't have a community. It makes it a hell of a lot easier that COCORO is part of the Doge legacy, the lore, the Kabosu legacy, the timeless narrative that created and sparked off all of the meme coins in existence today. That is the biggest part of this project, is that timeless narrative. But we also have a community as well. So there was a base version. I think they're still going, mate. They had a base version of COCORO at the start. Cabal, obviously, you know how that plays out. Shot straight to 100 mil. I think they're about sub 5 mil market cap right now. 87,000 holders. Yeah, like that. So there was like PFP there against the base one. But the community decided that the one underneath was the one. And that's the one that everyone jumped on board and followed and supported. So we've got the narrative, we've got a community, and we've got Mexter as well, man. I sleep quite well. Even though I do a bit of work, I can go sleep, but that guy is fully active. I think ask him that question, it'll probably be a different answer, man.
Well, I love your shout out anyway, because, if you look at this tweet that you did, and this is what community is all about, right?
Yes.
This is what, I had to go back to this one because, a lot of people just sometimes, we just don't feel like, I don't think we big each other up enough in this space. We don't uplift each other. It's PvP, for whatever reason. But obviously going back to your point with Mexter, and again, I'll tell you a funny story, right? So there was a scammer, right? They always pretend to be you, Mexter, myself, a lot of the times. And I remember one time he came in on Telegram. And of course, I've been in crypto for years. And this is a lesson for everyone to always, and I'm like, what? Mexter is just messaging me. So I'm like, I got a lot of respect for the brother. So I'm like, yeah, what's going on, brother? How are you? I didn't really check the subtle tag change in the Telegram, man. Shit. Before you know, he talked about the charity and what we're trying to do and what my holdings were and the next spaces. This was the most elaborate scammer I've ever seen on Telegram. And I was like, hold on a minute. Let me just, this guy's asking me to donate. And then I was like, let me message the guys in the TG. And they were like, nah, man. I was like, nah, I know. I'm not going to send him 100 million or 50 million or whatever the hell he wants. But yeah, big up Mexter if you're watching. Yeah. I know you said he's on holiday.
Yeah, well, he's got a family wedding that he's and they're kind of making a big do of it out there and in the Caribbean. It might have been him, mate. That might have just paid for his holiday, mate. That's what it might have been. It could have been his who knows? It wasn't.
Yeah, this was the raw days, sub 3 million or whatever it was, when we were just catching on the some of the tailwind. And but yeah, that was great, man. No, thank you for that lovely introduction. Saying, I mean, the point I take from your knowledge there is CTOs are tough, but if you have the ability to bring people together with good community and a good kind of like this responsibility, delegation, like for example, you being on spaces and being the voice, Mexter and other, the other legends doing all of the hard work together makes a huge difference. Now, one of the things that I latched onto, you brought me into the project. I saw your spaces and TG and everything and did the research. It checked out. This was a fantastic narrative. Nothing that I've seen since basically SHIB. in terms of, or sorry, even Nero. And I do have a story for you about Nero. But do you think, I mean, first of all, the links with SHIB, this was sensational. Can you tell us about how that came about in the early days?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, the biggest meme coin in the space is Dogecoin. We know that. And then SHIB token, the second biggest dog and biggest meme coin. You know, it's all part and parcel of that same legacy, though, you know, from that Kabosu dog, the Shiba Inu dogs, you know, so the Dogecoin and the SHIB are biggest meme coins in this space. And then obviously Nero, and then you've got us as the sister to Nero. Now, there was SHIB admins. We've had a few people kind of come in and go out of the community. Kind of people were brought in to kind of serve a purpose, I guess, and they wanted to do their part and help out through whatever means they could. But the main takeaway has always been that the SHIB token, like the actual account, is supporting us. You know, so we've had some good interactions. They've been on the spaces with us, several spaces, several posts out. The one that picture there you'll share in time to list the first ever Dark Shiba. That picture was actually linked back to, or that post from them was actually linked back to a main COCORO picture from Mexstar, tagging in like absolutely everyone, like all the exchanges and stuff like that. And they've just come in, exactly. They've just gone in, it's time to list, basically. You know, and on the back of that, I think L Bank came across. We've got a couple of others since then. But look, there's certain projects out there and certain people that are going to support other projects and do something for them. But for long-term support, it's not always the case. You know, there's normally, you'll know this more than anyone. Most of the meme space is current. You know, like it's going to be current hype, current narrative, current whatever, current support. You know, so we're fortunate enough to have, as I said, like we're not a current meta. It's like the narrative's the narrative. It's you know, there's nothing out there that's been proven that can absolutely beat this at all, and it never will. It's no one's going to compare to Dogecoin ever. You know, and we've got the SHIB token, the SHIB account, kind of fully supporting and posting out for us as well. So yeah, they've been good. They've been really good, but obviously, you know, they know the legacy and the law as well as Dogecoin and Nero. So, you know, but I've not seen them support. I didn't see them support any other of the dog tokens like the Neros and stuff like that early on. So it was interesting. It was a big move.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I mean, this was for me. It was an easy connection, because when you have the SHIB account with millions and millions, I mean, we have to remember. Doge, in terms of the legacy, in terms of the, like you said, the ultimate meme, that's there. And then 2020 came along, and each one of us remembers when they heard or bought or looked into Shiba Inu. I've got millions of zeros. One day this is going to get to 1 cent, and I'm going to be a billionaire. You know, this is so powerful, and people sometimes don't realize how important it is to actually connect the dots. So here was my kind of ultimate kind of, you know, that moment, eureka moment. I was like, Doge, SHIB, Nero, and then obviously COCORO. But if you go back to 2024, I went to dig up some of the dates, and Nero was listed in June 2024 on HTX.
Which one was that? Was that the CTO?
This was this was the CTO. And then eventually, no, actually it was the CTO? I think, yeah.
Nah, the CTO
was the other one.
Was the last one, wasn't it? They got last.
Yeah. And it got listed on Binance about 6 months later, 5 to 6 months later, around September, October 2024. But what's interesting is the connection between the ETH price and these listings. So when people are looking at, for example, the COCORO chart, one thing they don't realize is it's been gradually on the up. Like literally, this is what you want. And most people don't really read charts. You know, it's okay. You know, we're here.
They look at the market cap, and people get bored.
And that's all they look at.
Get bored. How can you get bored on a fucking play that's related to SHIB, Dogecoin, Nero? You know, you've got the whole lore and legacy behind you. How can you get bored? This is the most exciting project you'll get involved with right now. At 10 million,
Exactly.
11 million market cap, mate.
And you know, these charts that look like this actually coil up. So if you look at where the amount of money, so I'm actually heavy into macro, and luckily, obviously, like you said, when obviously Trump came in and we basically had our backsides handed to us, the emotional point had to change. You know, I had to go full macro, because the only way you can actually live in the space is sometimes understanding what's to come, understanding the greater, the bigger picture, understanding the liquidity in the cycle, all of these things. Now, when they print money, the money has to go somewhere, and the markets get an injection. So what tends to happen is, even though people are now saying, what's the disconnect between, say, the COCORO price to the Ethereum price? This is a micro cap.
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
a tiny sub $15 million micro cap, and these have the most violent. Exactly. And my point is this to anyone who's obviously on the sidelines in this market, because people tend to. I mean, one of the greatest things I've learned in crypto is to do nothing. The amount of times I've wrecked myself doing something. The only action you need to do is actually do the research. Are you comfortable with a particular hold? Is there space in your portfolio for a meme coin with a narrative? Very, very quick to do that research. You know what communities are doing. You know, your spaces are on nearly on a weekly basis. But anytime that I've wrecked myself, and I've got to say now, I go back to Ice Cube. I'm like, check yourself before you wreck yourself, because I can't say it on a live stream, but people don't actually hold long enough to see the fruits of their labor. And I always tell everyone, it's the one coin you sell that does a 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x. And then you go back to CoinGecko, if you're an OG or CoinMarketCap, and you try to delete it out of all your notifications.
History gone, mate.
And the worst thing is, exactly, bro. And there's always 1 cent in your cold wallet, in your Tangent or Ledger or whatever you use, or MetaMask or whatever. And there's a picture there that once upon a time you held Shiba Inu before the pump, Nero before the pump, COCORO before the pump. And I want to tell people to understand that liquidity in cycles happen for a reason. They have to print their way out of recession. So if you look at the stock market, it's been up for 200 years. Like, people don't really, they talk about the 1930s, the wars, whatever. But literally, rich money concept is investing a portion of your income into an asset that will appreciate. And when the asset is down, when everyone is panicking, man, they just buy. And that's how millionaires are made.
Very simple, man.
So, yeah.
Emotions are a real thing, though, man. Like, people, and this is where you see people in the projects, especially when the price actions like this. Remember, all time was high at 30 million. It's not high, but we're kind of about down to 10, 11. When people start asking more and more questions, I'm just like, all you want now is to kind of get a little bit more and just sell. You're going to get that, man. You're going to get that with all projects, though. People are just to be fair, people have been designed in this space to be impatient now, man, because of, like, for me, I'm sorry, guys, if you're sold out there, but I mean, Pump Fund for me wrecked a lot of things as well. That's my personal opinion. People were kind of just coming in and going, I've just made $5. And I'm like, who? Fuck off. Don't come at me like you've just made $5. Who the fuck makes it? Who cares? No one was holding, and it's just like, you're not going to get rewarded, as you said, if you don't hold and go through this. You just can't.
Yes.
Like, the amount of people that have come in and gone, I was in Nero early or Shib or, and I faded it. I'm just like, right, well, you've learned your lesson then, surely. Learn your fucking lesson. Mistakes are fine, but just learn from it and grow. For me, there's nothing else worth my fucking time. I don't look at anything else. I don't buy anything else. I tried a couple, got wrecked. Mate, all I do is just, I've got this. I keep adding a little bit here and there, and I just hold it. And I go sleep. I sleep like a baby now. I really do. It's a fucking, it's the most simplest thing you could ever hold.
It is almost like it's almost like a crime for people not, because I guess I do understand the psychology of why people do that. And one of the main reasons is once they learn a bit of crypto, they almost feel like traders. You know, I know how to use a wallet, and I know this is basic stuff, but most people have to do something. You know, come from work, go to the table, you know, have your dinner, and then you start fiddling around with your portfolio, and you're like, this one is down. So people have the ability, the amazing ability to sell in the red. No one's selling green.
No. No one's. Come on, guys. No one's selling in green anymore. It's just let's sell red,
brother.
Let's just sell red and buy green.
People are allergic to sell it in green. Exactly. And this is why I always go back to this Nero chart here, right? So when you flip this into a market cap, like for example, where COCORO is today, it becomes really, really insignificant. You know, I'll leave it there. Say 10, 11, 12 million, right? Look at the amount of money people have left on the table. And I'm sure each one of these dips took people out.
Yeah, 100%.
And, you know, no one sells at the top. But ultimately, what we're looking at is an asset that is comparable in the same narrative with the same kind of almost the identical flow in terms of community. Well, to be honest, I'll take that back. I've never seen anything like the COCORO Telegram group ever. Like I've never seen an insane amount of work, dedication. But this is what's ahead of you, and we are here practically. Like I can't even square this off. You know, 10 million, and look how 38 million volume. Look, 12 million with 29 million volume. But look how tiny a $47 million market cap looks in a final year of a bull market. This was in 2024. August the 18th.
That wasn't even like the start of the bull. Do you know what I mean? That was coming towards the end.
This was like, this is like this time last year, $47 million market cap, 38 million. But look what happened to the latter parts of the year. And we're talking about Jerome Powell, Fed pivot. We're talking about today's CPI data came out, and it was a confirmation that they have to pivot. Trump is now suing Powell or whatever that's going on over there with those clowns. But look at this. This is what's going to happen, in my opinion. And with money being printed, with liquidity all over the place for risk assets, all you have to do is write a narrative. And that's what people don't understand. So the people selling here, even though it looks great, at the time it was like, oh, $14 million market cap. That's amazing. 17 million. But for goodness sake, if you hold your meme coin
and DCA, and like as you're on about with your investments and stuff, man, every month without fail, I get paid. I chuck some in my house investments and stuff like that.
It takes $500.
That's exactly what I'm doing, man. And it's the same principle here.
And that's the same principle, bro. 100%. So when I look at where COCORO is right now, and again, you know, people want to always itch for the alpha listings and many of those amazing things that will come for this project. Again, there is alpha. We talked about it, you and I, before, and we're not going to potentially release it now. Yeah, we'll go into it. So let me get on to my alpha page. Well, first of all, we have a narrative, and we have a market cap that's a micro cap. Tick. Now, what people don't realize, I'm in the Dubai circles quite a lot, and projects normally look for, or how do I say this? Exchanges look for communities, right? Ever since Murad's token 2049 takeover for meme coins and communities, that's what they look for. And there's other projects, you know, I would love for those other projects to actually even do a collabo with COCORO. You know, there's some on some that I really like. You know, big up to all those teams working hard on the Sui blockchain or whatever. But there is a difference here, bro, and that's the community. So in terms of an alpha, the one thing that I get, I don't get asked when Lambo, man. So what's our story with HTX?
Mate, Jesus, man. So honestly, I've lost count. It all come about. It's really weird, and honestly, this was genuinely a coincidence. We've done a Telegram VC, and I was hosting it for everyone, and a guy called Kai opened up his video and randomly just started cooking pancakes, like making pancakes. Like, honestly, it was mental. Like, we was all cracking up. But to be fair, like, I've never been in a Telegram before in a VC where someone's cooking up pancakes. We're all invested. We're going, what are you putting on it? It was mental.
Was he from Pancake Swap?
Mate, no, honestly, but it wasn't. He was just. It was completely coincidental. Pretty much, not even a week later, HTX posted out a video of Nero cooking pancakes, like from scratch. Honestly, like, it was really weird. And then it was like, right, what's going on here? And then later, like after, you know, the forefront of that video was Nero cooking the pancakes, and then you see like Nero writing love in syrup on top of the pancakes, then putting some cream strawberries on. You're like, right, okay. And then she just kind of passes it over, and then the black and white Shiba comes to the forefront of this video and just starts going like, thanks for the pancakes. And it's like, we was like, mind blown. Like, so I've tried to track this guy down. I'm like, mate, do you work for HTX? He's like, mate, I promise you I don't. I'm like, right, well, you're on our show making pancakes. HTX are now getting Nero making. Like, I'm like, you're talking bollocks, mate. He's like, nothing to do with HTX. So we just put it down to that. It was just mental. Like, everyone's going mad, mate. Imagine that. Like, we all become like detectives. Like, everyone's like, you know, let's go and check all this. It was just nuts, man. But then, like, honestly, mate, I've done a whole fucking pinned post in the Telegram of the amount of videos that HTX have put out with. Most of them started off with Nero. I don't know. Let's say it's a 2-minute video and like 1 minute and 30 seconds is Nero, and then ultimately the black and white shit comes in, COCORO, and it just becomes more and more and more, and then COCORO becomes more at the forefront of the videos, and it's just like, man, they've been teasing us forever. Like, seriously,
forever.
Fucking this stuff. Literally, mate, you did it with Nero. Blatantly, you're going to do it with this one. It's the same playbook, mate. It's the same playbook. Look at everything, man. You know, and we've done the HTX DAO spaces. I don't know, man. If they don't, that was amazing. By the way, big up yourself, bro, because that was a real point. Like, people saw. We're bullish on spaces, man. Me and English, when we get together, mate, there ain't no stopping us. Seriously.
Yeah, we should have English here next time, man.
100%, man. We like it.
By the way, so there was like, then I went on this HTX rabbit hole, and even some of their friggin' you know, Telegram groups and stuff like that. It's been discussed. So it's not a secret. It's not an alpha. We're breaking news tonight. There's other stuff we can drop in, but as far as HTX is concerned, also going back to Justin Sun, there was that whole, you know, that COCORO with Trump, and you know, that was a brilliant campaign, by the way. Who are the graphic designers, by the way, in the team? Is it just members of the community, or?
It is. We've got a few. So you've got like Savage Cousins. I don't know if you've been in there in the Telegram, man, but big shout out to him and his team, the Savage Alphas, mate. They do a lot of work. They've done the new website. They're building a new platform for the website for like merch and store, but there's a bit more to it than just the merch store. It's like kind of a virtual shop, but I won't say any more. That's for him to drop. He's a fucking crazy Latvian, man. If you've heard him on like the VC, man, you'll just know exactly.
Oh, really? He's a legend, yeah.
Mate, yeah, he is. He does a lot of work, but we've got a lot of people doing things. So I'm not good at art and making video. I'm not. But my kind of niche, I guess, and skill set lies in, you know, having a voice and speaking up for the projects and doing things like this. But honestly, like the creativity from some of these individuals, man, it fucking blows my mind, mate, what they come up with. Honestly,
it's
man,
unbelievable.
Some of the content they make, I'm just like, wow. Big up to Grok as well.
Yeah.
Is he still suspended? Is it still suspended, or? I know it was the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the other day. Yeah, it was nuts, bro. Like,
Elon was
but
brutal, mate.
even the website, bro. Like, is there anyone like? Are there a list of people you want to shout out? Like, from
Yeah.
the
Everyone in the
community. I
admin
mean,
team, not everyone in the admin team, every one of the KOLs who have jumped on board from their own backs. Just thanks to absolutely everyone and the community. Again, like we've got admins that keep things ticking by in the TG. Mexter, obviously, Savage Alphas, all the KOLs, everyone. But obviously, it's the community. We could have absolutely everyone doing the support in the background. But if you don't have a community, what's the point? They're the ones that you've got to keep happy. And I will shout out to them, but I will also say, you need some fucking more conviction, guys. You need to keep your belief. You really do. Things happen, and things just don't happen as quickly as some people want it to happen. So, yeah.
100%. That's, by the way, guys, sorry, but I wanna get the community to follow you. So I'm gonna I'll post your X
It's all
page.
COCORO though, so just get used to being spammed COCORO on your feed. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, but that's exactly what we want, right? So if we go back to those Murad principles of I mean, let's talk about the modern world. I mean, you're a man that loves football, bro. Like you support Millwall. I'm an Arsenal fan. 2025's modern man, it's a difficult space to be in. I mean, especially us that grew up in the 80s, 90s. So being in a community, having a belonging is half the remedy, because nowadays everything is on friggin' line. And for us crypto investors, it's even worse because we're in this 24/7. There is no disconnect.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, big shout out to you. It's at Coco Blue Eyes. Guys, Coco Blue Eyes on X. I've just posted. In fact, I'll also give them the full link to this tweet as well.
Back to what you just said about people, I've met some fantastic people in this space, man. And like I came, like everyone, I came with that naivety in this space, going, first token I'll buy, I'll make $1 million. I'll be in and out in 6 months in this, I reckon, is crypto. I'll easily smash this and do it. I can't stick around for the communities, man. Honestly, like I'm a community person, 100%. I want to feel part of something, and something bigger than self, mate. I want to be part of something much more than just I. And being part of the community, and that's what I drive it so much, and that's what I drive it into people, going, look, this is your fucking community. Yeah, stop asking when. Do something about it. Do something. Every person within our community or any other Telegram community, whatever project you're involved with, any person that's holding that token should be out there doing something, whether it's raiding, making art, networking, speaking on spaces, doing whatever. Everyone has that capability of pushing their narrative and their project to the fucking moon.
That's amazing, bro. I agree with you 100%, man. Like, for example, I'll send you, I'll get you into our Discord just to show you what type of investors and friends and family that we have. We ended up with such an amazing small group of like-minded people, beyond emotions. Each one of us in that Discord community that we have just does a bit of work. And I'm talking about alpha, sharing emotions. We're not isolated, but we are virtual.
Yeah.
And again, there's so much pressure, especially when it comes to, sorry about this, ladies, but when it comes to men, I don't know if you've ever heard a story of there was a young man in the States who, he used to work at one of the airports. I forgot which one it was, but they later nicknamed him Sky King. So what this chap did was he was a baggage handler, yeah. And he basically he stole a plane, started flying it, and then committed suicide. And one of the hardest things in crypto is that psychological pressure for the breadwinner. Or there's a lot, of course, big up the ladies who are in the spaces, who are joining us live.
Women in space, man.
I just always talk about one sister in my community. Big up yourself in Belter if you're here. But she's in there. We've got a few ladies in the Discord. But one of the issues with the guys is that we keep everything in, and sometimes could be good. So, for example, I don't tell the missus that I'm 5x down or 10x down or whatever. But if I get there over time, I've learned I can share that information. I can maybe then start acting, doing things. So I had a question for you, bro. What is it like being an investor, and of course a pretty much a public figure in one project that will do really well? And how do you handle the balance between, crypto talk, portfolio talk with the better half, and this is this is a whole entire, I remember one guy, shout out to my brother, but I helped him through the Discord because he told the missus next month we're going to have a Lambo, and he was new to crypto.
Brilliant.
And, she wanted 50% split out. When Trump came in, man, everything dropped, and she wanted a divorce. So seriously, like this is almost like a side of crypto, because we got a lot of scammers in the space. We've got, so nobody actually really believes when they come into the space. I mean, the spirit, like you said, coming in naive, and he promised her like a different life. And I always say to people, man, you see, it's much harder for an entire family to suffer through a bull market or a bear market. And it's much easier for the dude to take that responsibility, because that's just the way we're built. Going back to that story of the guy who took the plane, they later found out, he was keeping a lot of shit to himself, and then he ended his life. There was an episode on Joe Rogan about this, but where do you draw the line between, because I find it, even personally, I'm doing the content, I'm doing research. I've got 2 daughters. I've got a 6-year-old that I'm quite, day to day, I have to do things with her, take her here and there. So fatherhood and investment, and then the wife. And I always find that the one relationship that suffers a little bit is the family. The other relationship that suffers, because I'm making all my friends right now in crypto, my old school friends are no more. Hey, you want to come out for a drink? Yeah. And then you get there and you're looking at your portfolio. You're like, so tell us about how you handle like certain things like that, because nobody talks about it, bro.
So for me, when I first got into crypto, I think one of the first times I did a write on a meme project. I didn't ride it. I was quite new into crypto, and I took some decent profit out, but I kept watching it go up and up and up after I sold it, 6 figures and stuff like that. But I made profit, and that was the main thing. So I kind of took some out. Then I put a couple of K into a scam project, got honeypotted. That was my first honeypot. So I kind of
oh shit!
Was it
a Solana one?
No, it wasn't. It was an Ethereum one. This is when I first ever joined TG. I didn't even know what Telegram was, mate. I was that naive, and I got into this project, and I got honeypotted, and I was just like, I'm quite open. I have to be open with my missus as well. You've got to be open as well. Like, you've got to. And I told her, and she's like, you fucking know. Like, just losing money. And then she's like, well, you've got that much money just to lose. Like, do you not even feel bad about losing $2,000? And I'm like, nah. And she's like, what's wrong with you? Do you know what I mean? Like, anyone else, they'd be like, why have you lost $2,000? And I'm just like, but I made money on the previous one, so it's not like I've lost my money. So I kind of look at it, and I tell you what helps, guys. Just say that, just treat her to something. I used to kind of bribe her, basically. We're going family holidays. I also don't overinvest. I genuinely don't. I put money into stocks and shares. I put a little bit into crypto, and I don't overinvest. So, like, my salary for my sales job that I do full time, the majority of my money, I'm not materialistic. Guys we support, basically, it's always about booking up holidays and doing family things and making memories. As long as we've got those parts, then we get quality time together and stuff like that. Then she kind of just leaves me the hell alone. She knows I'm on here tonight, man. So she can go, I want more out of you. But I just kind of think I've got to give them time. I'll book holidays for the family and stuff like that out of my salary. and whatever I've kind of got left, that's kind of mine to play about with, you know. So, but if you're getting to a point where your family's going to suffer, then you really need to fucking check yourself, because that's over investing or in money or time, you know. So
absolutely, absolutely, and that's the hard bit. I mean, again, you know, I go back to your point about, you know, you've got to be honest and share certain things with the family. But I think a lot of people don't understand the one thing that makes you calm is understanding what you're doing. Like you said, you know, do your research. Understanding greed is the ultimate reason why you don't make money, because, you know, even if you make money, you may end up losing it in a shitty project. And this is why I think, you know, holding COCORO now, you know, we'll look back at this, you know, most of us in this space will go down as legends, in my opinion, because if you can survive the next 90 days, right? We're not asking people to be here for the next 3 years. It's a matter of liquidity cycle. If you can hold your COCORO and DCA on a weekly, monthly, whatever basis to the bag that you think a 10x or 50x could set you up on whatever. So this is how you should think about it. You know, if I put $1,000 in, would I be happy with like $50,000? The answer is absolutely, because that changes your life. You know, 50,000 liquid, when, you know, you can either keep it for the bear market, you can invest it in a real world business, pay your debts,
on holiday,
take your missus on holiday. And this is the point. Like one of the reasons I was looking forward to having you on tonight. You know, this is not your typical meme coin talk, right? You know, they come in and, you know, these are people grafting, doing, you know, everyday work with real families, with real emotions. You know, you've doxed yourself, I'm doxed. You know, some of the other team members are doxed. But the message here is most people will not see their gains because their worst enemy is themselves. Sit down, relax, and don't look at these things. You know, look at the market when things start moving. There was a case in point today because I posted in the Discord. I said, guys, you'll see what a mini God candle looks like. You will see today with the CPI data being negative. You will see the reaction and what a 20% or 10% move looks like in a single candle. And people saw that because the market was absolutely going berserk. ETH was going nuts. And then, you know, there are those who ask me, so why is COCORO not going up? So the market doesn't move, you know, together. It moves in stages. So in terms of like our overall expectation in this cycle, I mean, the most powerful message I give people is when you come into crypto, and you know it's going to be hard for you in the beginning. You have to make a mistake, and there's those mistakes that make you a much better investor. So at some point you get rugged. That's a given. At some point you lose 90% of your money. That's a given. Then you might sell it. You know, if you put in $1,000, by the time you see $100, you may think, okay, yeah, it's done. You may hold and that thing may rug. So these are the permutations, right? There may well be sell the news event like Trump's inauguration. But ultimately, if you can survive, I was telling the team, buy these projects in April. Buy in April. And the funny thing is with COCORO, we are back to an area where it actually did a 3x from or 2x from.
So really quickly.
And all of the entire, I mean, the shocking thing is, like, you know, the major listings are yet to be announced. I know, I was going to ask you actually before I forget. There were those wallets that we were sharing in the Telegram group. Remember the big wallet? So there was Binance Link wallet. I know that for sure. But just remind me, like, well, I mean, because I know you're in, like, you know, you're much more informed than me, to be honest. But
yeah, you never know.
Did you spot any exchange wallets?
Yeah, you just don't know. You
don't know who.
No, we don't know. Like, not without kind of tracing it all back. There's a lot of hot wallets and stuff like that, you know. But the ones that did come in were like L Bank. You know, they were buying in. Obviously, they launched us, and you know they've been listed us. Sorry, and they've been one of the biggest volume captures for us, to be fair. And then Mexi are now one of the top wallets as well. So they've been accumulating a lot. And there's a bit more to them. I'm kind of in a Telegram with some of the Mexi team to look about pushing different avenues as well for like a campaign and stuff. So bit by bit, there's a lot of exchanges out there that we've spoken to. Hey guys, there's a lot of people, a lot of exchanges that we are chatting with. I think people just, and I will say this, it's not bearish at all, guys, but exchange listings are not the all these days. It's not the everything these days. Times have changed a bit. Now, community is the most bullish thing, in my opinion. It genuinely is. If you've got a cult-like mentality and you've got thousands of members, like ball posting all over X, all over any kind of social, that will bring you more ROI than exchange right now, especially at this market cap, you know. So there's a lot out there.
That's a brilliant point that you make there, bro. And I just wanted to expand on it a little bit, because that point so I was talking to I won't say their name, but a pretty big project to come out to the channel and do an AMA style video. And we were talking about listings. So over the years, you know, doing this, I gather certain questions that are a must. Exchange listings is one of them. And he convinced me by looking at, for example, what's happening with Hyperliquid and DEX volumes. So one of the things that it was fascinating, and one of the things that he shared was the volume that they were doing from the DEX was bigger than the volume that projects were doing of major exchanges. And the exchanges are becoming even more belligerent. So the way they make money now, apart from taxing the team and the project and charging a lot of money up front, giving a lot of supply away, they list and dump.
Yeah.
Case in point, if you look at, for example, the biggest hype token in 2025 or 2024, in fact, for the last 4 years, has been Gunzilla. On the you know, of course, crypto gaming hasn't done well, but if you look at all of the Binance listings, apart from some memes like Nero, which did boom, you know, because they obviously they pumped it. But you make an absolutely brilliant point. The exchanges will come, but at a certain point in a project's life cycle, it's not the be on and end all.
No,
it could actually be detrimental in a way if you do it too early.
Well, you've got to think of the marketing funds. Now, again, this is another point. There was a lot of money raised. There was about 100K. A lot of that was down to some big whales as well. But obviously, this was part and parcel of community raising as well. So community members were kind of, you know, sending over COCORO tokens and stuff like that. When you've got 100K in the marketing wallet, to people it might sound like a lot of money, but you go after Binance, that's going to cost you what, $1 million? You know, so £100,000 in the market wallet right now is not much. If the community can raise the market cap and free exit from here, where we've kind of been to our all-time high before, your 100K turns into a 300K. That's then a good starting point to if you want to start talking to tier one exchanges, you know, because you've got that. So the marketing wallet is one thing, but ultimately you've got to spend that money wisely. You have, because before you know it, you give away all your supply, you give away absolutely everything, and what have you got left? Nothing. You know, it's just when. And the more things that you tend to give, and this is where I've been in lots of different projects before, you know, the more you give straight away and just keep going, there you go. The next thing they'll go is, when's the next thing? When's the next thing? You know, you could drop Binance right now and go, when next listing? It's just like, guys, come on.
When Binance?
When HTX? That's the question. When HTX? Fucking this guys, man. Come on. They're like ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll take it to Tesco's tomorrow. Right, and write HTX on it.
Right. Jeez. But you know,
mate, you're getting a lot of praise here, by the way. You know, big up Joad here, of course.
We've got some good people. Like another thing, and this would be like your Discord. Not only is it a good community, but they're good people. We've got some good souls, and I need to be around good people with good intentions, a good heart. COCORO means heart, so you're in the right project if that's your kind of vibe and stuff. If you're a good person within this space, fighting the cabal, had enough of being rugged on, honeypotted, cheated, scammed. Join a community, fucking grind for them at work, man. That's all I say. Do your
100%. I mean, we always talk about working for the bag, and that's quite prominent in the Discord, and it is also quite prominent in the Telegram group for COCORO. Yeah. And I've never seen a bunch of people that work as diligently for their bags. And these bags may not even be the biggest holdings. We're talking about, sometimes there's guys in there with like $1,000 or whatever, but it's that sense of belonging. And in the essence of, that kind of meme masterclass that Murad delivered, look at SPX. Like I said, exchanges, investors, big money whales, and nobody knows actually when a project gets to 100 million, the multi-millionaires, billionaires come on board.
There you go. That's what it sends. That's when it runs. It's difficult to get to that part. But you're right. People need to study more. And also Crash. He's done a space quite recently about Binance. And everyone's going, they're never going to list this project. It's never going to do it. You're never going to get it. The community's not strong enough. Boom, Binance went, there you go. Binance US, listed, done.
Amazing.
Anyway, that's why we're not paying these exchanges, because they'll list us. If you believe in it and you want to hype it up, that's all it takes. There's no exchange out there. They will all want to list it. As long as the volume there and the community's there, mate, and they can see that, they'll make money. I don't care.
And by the way, put one of these, I don't know, exchange representatives or a whale or whatever into the COCORO group, and they'll be blown away. One of my good friends in our community messaged me one day. He said, "Bro, we went to sleep like these was like the 30 million market cap days, and we woke up the next morning. There was like 15,000 messages."
Yeah.
Fuck. I was like, there's no, like, you could even go to some of the big meme coins with, multi-billion-dollar market caps right now, and you won't get 10 people talking in their TG.
Mate, yeah. And honestly, a few of them, I see some, and it's just, they're doing all right, but I'm just like, if I came in as a new person, I ain't staying. I just tell people, like, just join the Telegram. Yeah. Don't buy now, just join the Telegram, and you'll understand why you're going to want to stick around.
100%, bro. And you know what makes me laugh, right? Like, for example, here, big up to Artie here. COCORO is the only coin that I hold solid investment out of all my meme coins. So you may be seeing like the dips, the peaks, the troughs, or whatever, like anyone who's holding it. But the expectation is, I always go back to the money flow, right? The old crypto money flow chart. Large caps, whatever. Top one, top 10 outside of ETH and Bitcoin. Then you got top 100. Then you've got, of course, then they start taking more risk, because they understand if a whale puts in $1 million, or let's say, $50,000 into a COCORO, their returns are astronomically way more. And that also moves the needle significantly in terms of like market cap, and then the volumes come in and other whales see that. So I make this point about using Nansen and things like that. And whenever I do like a COCORO, AI analysis, you can see, who's interested, who's not interested. So patience is key. But like you said, exchanges nowadays, if you prove yourself on DEX, which is primarily, I love Mexi. I'm partnered with Mexi, but sometimes I go to Uniswap to go and buy a bag. It's simple, easy for me, and I don't have to wait for my order to be filled. I can't even wait for my orders to be filled when I'm buying COCORO, bro. I don't know if you get the same feeling sometimes.
Yeah, look, I don't use any exchange. Never have done. Honestly, I don't. And to be fair, most of these people that go, when exchange, I'm like, mate, you don't even use an exchange. Why are you even asking about it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people just kind of, I don't know. This ain't 2021 anymore, guys. Like, we've moved on.
It's not.
A lot of things. We've moved on. Like, things have changed. The things that used to send coins, it doesn't work like that no more. People have kind of, it's all changed. Like, X Spaces is like a good place to start. X and Telegram and community. That's kind of where you need to be, and doing stuff like this. To kind of talk out there. People are people are bored about listening. People have got onto the fact that all these KOLs out there that get just paid to show absolute shit, you know, and then go by the end of the year going, oh, look at what I've called. It's just like, yeah, but what about all the other calls that you made that just wrecked everyone? Yeah, like, let's talk about them 10,000 ones instead of your top 10. You know,
exactly.
So people have kind of cottoned onto this shit, mate. They really have, and it's a different time now. It's a different time, and people.
Man, it's completely different. And by the way, you're such a legend. You even brought Shrek to the COCORO community.
Shrek, yeah. He's a good guy. He is.
And yeah, Vince said, yeah, of course, they manipulate exchanges and market makers as well. You know, there's a piece about Wintermute.
Yeah,
recently. You know, I'd be better to get listed during the euphoria phase. Absolutely. You know, that's a brilliant point as well. You know, big up the caveman there. One of my
we've got exchanges.
One of my brothers.
We've got exchanges. We had Wex recently that done like nearly 1 million volume, you know, and there's a couple of others, and there's KCX, and there's, I don't know, Albit, and there's Lbank, there's Mexi, there's a couple of others.
There's loads of them.
You know, there's definitely a few of them, but ultimately, like, it's great with the volume on these exchanges, but ultimately, as you said, you need it on deck, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's 8 exchanges there, and it's not even updated. But if you look at most volume, here, Lbank is killing it.
Yeah, man.
They just they're unbelievable.
You got to remember, Lbank are a big exchange, mate. And so are Mexi.
Yeah, massive. Yeah.
They're both big. They're both big exchanges, regardless of what people's experiences are. And Mexi, I think, had a lot of problems back in the day. So too did some other exchanges when it was futures.
Gate as well. Yeah. If we get Gate, the thing about Gate is, you know, there's actually a good exchange. I'm quite good friends with as well. I've never actually thought about. I need to jump in and. Yeah, definitely.
We'll, you know, like if I went back to Mexter and the team and like the admins and stuff like that, and just said, look, this is this, you know, this is what they can offer. But also, we don't just want an exchange just to go, oh yeah, we'll list you. It's just like, well, hang on a minute. What else are we going to do stuff together? We just had a mad, like, I was on with Lbank follow me. I've made it now in fucking X. You know, we did a space with Lbank. You know, me and English Shapes, we did a space with COCORO on Lbank's, mate, and they loved us, man. We had a really good space, man.
They are pulling in.
Yeah, I want to work with them, mate. I don't want them just go, oh yeah, we'll list you and that's it. It's like, no, if you want to list us, we're going to be doing AMAs. You're going to be doing some campaigning. You're going to support us as well. You're not just taking money, because this ain't my money, ain't Mexter's money. This is a community wallet. You know,
it's a community wallet.
If you're going to want to take a piece of that supply, and we're going to give you some of that supply, you're going to work for that as well, though.
But I mean, by the way, big up to yourself for that spaces. That was fire, man. And they are currently doing nearly $2 million, or 75% of the volume.
Yeah.
And we're talking about.
Consistent, man. Honestly, they have been consistent. But honestly, the guys are fantastic there. Honestly, and I'm chatting with Mexi now, because I said to them, like, I showed them the volume track, and I went, guys, come on. And I was like, we don't normally do spaces, but I was just like, well, we probably should. So I think we might be able to get something going a little bit more in Mexi, because if they help us out, we can certainly help them out, you know. And it's like, we need to be in working together in unison, rather than going, yeah, we're listed on this exchange, this one. I want to be, you know, I've even reached out to some of the others, and some of them are interested, some of them are not, some of the smaller ones. But yeah, I'd rather.
That's going to be that's going to be insane. I mean, I do love this volume here is just insane, and the reason is because I go through like hundreds of fundamental projects every day listed on even Binance's and other big exchanges, and they're not pulling volume. They're not pulling volume. So it's funny, because the depth right now is holding. I mean, you've got to really, in order to impact price here, you've got to offload $18,000 in one clip. No one's doing that. So, you know, ultimately, and vice versa, you know, you got to buy 18 grand 18 grand's worth of tokens to, to increase the depth by 2%. So we are, liquidity wise, we're very healthy. And I think that is,
I don't know if you know about the liquidity thing, but a lot of people, there was people in the back channels, like even the KOLs and stuff, and people that have like some decent wallets, man. They raised about 40,000 and chucked it in the liquidity and then burnt it, mate. Out of their own pocket. That was their money. That was
brilliant.
I think that took about 6 minutes for them to raise that, man. And then 100 grand, that was raised quite quickly between them and the community. I think that took about 6 hours.
I guess a perfect balance. I mean, look, it's exactly what you want, 10%. So perfect to the market cap. And I think the other thing I was going to say was, before we wrap things up, bro, I know you got a lot of things to do, but let's come back here.
All roads lead back to HTX.
Show me the money. People will listen to us. And the alpha, the one that we talked about backstage, right? And
there's actually nothing to do with these guys, but it is
exactly. I'm misleading people because that's what you got to do with alpha, right? You got to go do a couple of step overs to shimmy like Robert Pires, and then put it into the top bins.
I mean, it does link in. I mean, Asia's obviously, it links in with Justin's Sun, HTX, and stuff like that. So there's a big event coming up in September that we've been invited to. COCORO's been invited to. I'm just going to read you something. This is like, big up to Womble, my man Womble here, for writing this down, because I'm like, mate, you've got to write all this down for me. We've been put down as a star co-organizer for something, and some of the projects that were kind of listed alongside us include Shib, Baby Doge, Dog with Hat, Brett, Dog of Bitcoin, Turbo, Mew, and Cat in a Dog World. The lowest market cap of them is Baby Doge out of 230 million, and then we're sat beside them at about 11 million market. I don't know, man. That's a big one. So Asia's calling, I feel. I think Asia's calling us. There's a few more things actually to do with that. I don't think it's any secret that we want to progress with the charity side of things and do some big things out there. But hopefully a couple of these bits of kind of what we're doing will hopefully kickstart the community, because I felt like a lot of them have kind of just dwindled or just kind of, kind of stagnant a little bit. Hopefully a few of them will just start stepping up a little bit now. When we ask for donations and you go, well, you've got money in the marketing wallet. Yeah, not everything's going to accept tokens, man. There's a lot out there that's going to need more than just us sending COCORO tokens to. So I just say, like, trust in your lead, Mexter, who's doxed. He's done fucking absolutely everything he can. Trust in the project. Trust your gut. What's your gut telling you about the project? What's the gut telling you about the people in the project that's leading the way for it? But Asia's calling, man. Asia's calling.
Guys, we can't say any more than that. And just to recap what this legend, the Blue Eyes, has said. There's murmurings going on, and a lot of noise is coming out of Asia. I mean, that will be huge. And even honestly, we did talk about it, like we looked at it, but we never really spoke about anything, right?
Mate, I forgot about it. Honestly, I forgot about it. And I'm like, is this new? And they're like, no, we've been invited. And I'm like, shit, okay. And then I saw us on there with every other one. I'm like, are you sure they've not made a mistake?
That's going to be insane. That's going to be insane. And for everyone on the live stream,
I'll shout South Korea out. There you go. See what happens.
Yes. So let me tell people. Let me tell people about South Korean crypto culture. Right. First of all, it is absolutely huge, and you will find a lot of OGs, a lot of founders, a lot of money there. Mm-hmm. And I also actually found out that they treat XRP like Bitcoin. So for those of you who remember, XRP was like the largest cryptocurrency, bigger than Bitcoin in terms of market cap at some point. So the Koreans, they have capital and they know their space. So that is huge, man. And last year, I mean, we're not going to talk about the event too much, but a lot of things were, established. So if we start talking about Asia, where, almost half of the world's population is, and I'm lucky enough to be in Dubai. Like, I understand, I travel to these places. And even recently, Jawad put a great point here. He said an Indian exchange is coming too. Want some agent, of course, same thing. The volume will go absolutely nuts. People don't actually realize how huge South Korea is in crypto, and how India is just overtaking China as the world's largest population. And a lot of them, if you know anything about, for example, a head of Google is Indian. Some of the world's greatest IT companies come out of India. In fact, all of your tech support globally is based in India. Bangalore is a hotspot. If they get the exchange in South Korea, I mean, not the exchange, but just that whole Asia contact. And I know the team's been pushing Justin Sun as well. That's another alpha there, because that's going back to the...
mate, he knows his playbook. He knows the narrative. He understands the law. He understands.
He knows what he's doing, and
that's what he did.
And that's huge. And that's all we can. I mean, to be honest, we've never done a dedicated meme only. I mean, we've done a meme only show where we've got 10 or whatever memes, and people chuck in a few others or whatever. But I think this is going to be the residence of COCORO. Like, everybody has to do their bit. But I want to circle back to one thing you said, bro, which is. You're getting all of the, just to go back to the charity. So I want to tell a little bit of a story here. So a few days ago, I clocked onto the spaces. So I turned up and I was listening to you. And again, I'm in, I have a house in Abu Dhabi. So I feed the cats. It's very hot here. And you talked about the charity and doing whatever you can to. And this was on Spaces, right? So it wasn't for anybody. It wasn't for exchanges. This was just a community discussion. And I was like, what a friggin' legend, because you were talking about helping charities and what are you doing, and asking different people what they were doing. So that night I stood up, I left the house, I make sure that I took a big bag of cat food, and I drove around in the neighborhood just to make sure they got water and some food, right? Because like I said, we don't have an RSPCA or whatever, or, certain things that we've got back in London or whatever. And that really was a boost for me to get off my backside to do something. And I had COCORO in mind. I was like, yo. So can you tell us, like, what other initiatives are you pushing? Like, what did you do, like that part of the spaces, so that everybody knows?
Okay, so
we're not just robots, right? Like,
light still. No, that's a bit better now. Actually, it was a bit like dark. So
can we see your background? If you can,
if it's like,
let's guys, check this out. This is
so let's just stretch that one.
That is an unbelievable view right there.
That's from my hotel.
Wow.
That's the stadium of Milton Keynes, MK Dons. Massive like ground, man. It's like, this is fit for a Premier League team, mate. Just
well, we could always propose sponsorship there.
Mate. I've been here a couple of times, and I was like, "Can you not get us on the board then?" I'm like, I don't know, maybe for a price, of course.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
It's not, man. But there's a lot of things. So I like the idea of making gains and giving back. I mean, we all do it anyway because of like taxes. I mean, you don't, but like everyone else kind of does. Like you have to do a lot of charity incentives and stuff. You don't necessarily get to say where your money's going. It's just part and parcel of the taxes and stuff. And I love animals, man. I always have done. I've always been an animal person. you know, cats and dogs, but I've got a couple of cats myself, and I've got a local RSPCA. For those in America, it's like ASPCA, something like that. And I just I said I went down to go and see my local one, and spoke to them. I spoke to the manager there, because at first the lady was like, "Oh, no." As soon as I mentioned crypto, she was like on the defensive. It was like, "Oh no, I don't think we do anything like that." And I'm just like, "I'm sure you will if I give you some money." So I spoke to the manager, and he was just like, "Yeah, well, you know, brilliant. Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe come down, speak to some of the staff, maybe get a picture of the dog or something." He goes, "Right, come down Monday." This was Friday. He goes, "Come down Monday or Tuesday. I don't know which day it was now. Come in, speak to this lady on the reception. Come in at 10. We'll get you a tour done." There you go. There's me walking one of the dogs. But yeah, the lady, there was a lady called Emma, and she gave her time up for me and took me around for about 2 hours, like around the kennels, showing like around around where the cats are, small animals. We took Teddy. His name was Teddy. So sweet. Took him for a little walk. You know, and I got some really good content. And I just posted it out. I gave him a donation at the end. I chucked some money on my card. It was 150 quid, like pounds for us. It's not like, you know, thousands and thousands, but it was just my contribution, I guess, like a personal donation to them. So yeah, that was really good. And I kind of then nominated absolutely everyone in the community to do something similar. I understand. I don't care about dogs. You know, I mean, it's me. I don't care. I don't give a toss. But I know some people will. So I'm just like, if you don't want a dogs, that's fine. Just send an online donation. And if you do, if you are happy to be seen, or if you want to cover your face doing content, go out and do it. So we're starting to see some people doing it. So there's a couple of members. Harmit, I think his name's Harmit. I'm really apologise if I've got that wrong. And we've got Demir as well. Now, those two guys have done between them 3 different donations to various organisations in various countries as well. We've had one in Russia, one in Uzbekistan, and he showed us some content about, you know, how the animals, like how poor it is out there, and, you know, what his money will help do. So I've just basically nominated everyone. And this is not just like, I'm not just saying it has to be our community. I'll nominate everyone like that's fucking listening now, just to kind of go and give 50 quid or $50 or $20. Or if you don't have money, go and give an hour of your time up to help a charity do something good. You know, because it helps them. And come on, man, like, you felt good after you did that for the cats. And I felt good.
I did it again today.
100%. It's going to make you feel good. Like, doing something good for other people ultimately will lift you as well. You can go, right, okay, I've done something good today. And do only good every day, man. You've got to go back to that motto. If we want to be in that lineage of the Kabosu legacy as we are, we must pay homage to them and to the Chippewan organization, who unknowingly and unwittingly sparked the whole fucking meta and the reason why we're sat here today.
Absolutely brilliant point. I think that is, brother, what a legend. And for those of you who think this is a regular meme coin where, you know, you just, you know, rug and whatever, this is a CTO unlike any other. And you've got Blue Eyes there. I love that, by the way. I've posted the hashtag. If you come across it, you'll find it on my X page as well. Yeah, COCORO giving. That's incredible. Like I said, bro, like, you know, we go back to people, and people meet for a reason. You know, you'll meet dickheads every day. But honestly, in this community, I've met nothing but legends like yourself, Mexter, some of the other amazing, you know, people there. But one thing that I think is above, big projects aren't doing this. This is corporate social, you know, responsibility on a different level. I mean, if people are familiar with the world of business, you know, this kind of thing would be looked at as completely insane. You know, this is what we're doing. HR will prepare it. And this is not a photo op. This is a person, a human being. I mean, look at this dog, right? Look at this. Bless her. And, you know, you don't understand what she's been through. You don't understand. But for you to drive up, take her time, donate to the charity, and again, that takes a wonderful spirit. And guys, like I said, modern day is full of isolation. People are never happy, no matter what they do. So whether your spirituality is in God, whether you love giving back, find something to do outside of, for the good, outside of your immediate situation. Everyone is everyone has a story to tell, but this is beautiful. This really got me, bro. And this inspired me to actually, where I am is tailor-made, and hopefully I'll add some clips to it and send you across some of that stuff with me going around.
I want everyone to do something similar. Like for me, being part of a community that's doing something to do with charity is a big thing, and that's still for us to come. Now, there's plans. The plans are much bigger, obviously, as part of the team and doing what we're doing for kind of charity, and that will come. And there's already something in the works. Again, I'm not going to drop anything right now, but it's being dealt with. But as an individual basis as well, we should be doing something locally. And if we can't do it locally, there's going to be, especially in the poorer countries, guys, like, as I said, Uzbekistan, like Malaysia, so some of these countries that really could do with like $50 would really help them, for their sanctuaries and stuff like that. But again, if you don't have the money, time's just as important as well. That's as valuable as anyone's money. Homeless shelter, help them out, go and give some food out to someone, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, just play your part, really. And it's, do it for the love, do it for your project, or just do it for something to do, and it'll ultimately lift you, especially if you're feeling down and a bit shit, man, because times are hard for a lot of people, man.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what, bro? Crypto gets you into a tunnel where nothing is ever big enough. You get $1 million, fuck that, man. I should have had 10. You get $100,000, it should have had $500,000. There's never any satisfaction, and most of the time, because of the way the market works, 90% of the time, market's not doing anything. Let's be fair. It's those explosive phases where you make the money. But I think what we're talking about here is being human again. And
real people, real community. Don't be
real community.
This bollocks, this fake LARPs and TGs that are botted to hell. And come on, guys, these bundles, and come on. If you've been in here enough time, you should know that actually communities do prevail. They genuinely do. Yes, it's harder work. Yes, you need more money to be chucked in because you haven't been rugging project after project after project to get you to the next project. We all know this. We're not stupid, guys. So I just, if you're going to believe in something, believe in the communities, whichever projects you are, have some real belief in them. And even if you have to go down with the ship, at least you've done the right thing, rather than fund these greedy, and they are. It's just greed. You said it earlier, mate. All we do as investors, and if you're a smaller investor or if we're whales, all you're doing is giving your hard-earned money away to someone that's already got a ton of money that doesn't need it. That's all.
Absolutely, bro.
Just feeding them more, and more ego. That's what you do.
No, that's a beautiful. I think that's such a powerful message and a beautiful way to kind of maybe wrap up our live stream. Bro, look, the floor is yours. Is there anyone? I mean, again, guys, please get involved. Make sure you follow this legend. I've already shared that on the link in the chat, but please follow Blue Eyes because of the simple fact that, of course, you'll get COCORO news and stuff like that, but you will get a lot more in terms of just understanding life, COCORO, whatever. Follow us for the charities as well, because I'm going to try and get involved and bring the cats and dogs together. So far, the dogs are 1-0 up. So we've got to try and equalize. Outside of crypto, what do you like doing? I know you're a massive football fan, bro. Maybe.
Yeah, I tell you, I support Millwall. I don't go as much as I once did. I like watching neutral games as well, to be fair. I don't get stressed if a team loses them, man. I don't ruin my weekend as much. if I'm honest, man, I just like traveling, like spending time with my wife and boy and making memories, man. Like, because we may be dead tomorrow, man. Who knows? Like, and that's
Who knows?
down stuff, but man, it's all about making memories, booking holidays, and like kind of living for the now, man. So
100%.
Investments, bit of crypto, and booking some holidays and keeping her off my back, more importantly, so I can do this.
Do you play any football at all?
Nah, man, I'm not. I don't really get active like that. Honestly, like my work's like full on. I do travel around most of the country. I'm at hotels and stuff like that. And like if I'm in a project, and if I literally as a community member, if I want to get involved with something, that becomes my passion, man. Like literally, this is my passion, and I don't think I want to go through another cycle of meme coins. If I'm honest, man, I've got back in because of this one into memes, mate, and this will be my last.
No, this is amazing. It's I was gonna, it's kind of like my next question. Where do you see us kind of top in? There is no what's
top.
The rest of the cycle? There is no top.
There isn't. You can't call the top. You just don't know. You can't. Doge, what's that? 40 billion was it, or 80 billion? Which one was it? Doge was 80 billion. What's SHIB? Like SHIB,
yeah, that was like
40. You can't call the top on this. Like, it's Nero's sister. It's not a dog that, it's not a cartoon dog from, I don't know, a cartoon show. It's whatever. It's a dog that the same lady owns that once owned the Dogecoin dog Kabosu. Yeah. It's the Shiba Inu organization that rescued those 3 dogs. And that one lady adopted all 3 of these over time. And you've also got a connection with the second biggest dog meme in space and forever, which is the SHIB token. So there is no top. There is no top, guys. People need to get more conviction. People need to stop looking at market caps going, oh, it's 11 million. It's a bit too high for me to buy into. Fuck off. Yeah, it's not too high. You're going to say, did you say that when Nero ran up? Did you say that when Pepe ran up? There is no tops for these big narratives, guys. There's massive narratives in this space that should always be looked up on. And who knew that she'd go back and get another dog? I think she was like, Nero looks a bit lonely. Let's go and get another dog. Yes, thank you. Well done.
Why don't we replace all the Jawad? What a legend here. The only dark SHIB, the only black SHIB there. But listen, mate, this is your channel. This is your community. Yeah. And, today we were officially planning for the X Spaces, but you and I wanted to do something a little bit different and just have a video where the community can share, go back to the whole, like we've done, 1 hour, 20, ridiculous.
That's flown by.
That's flown by. And, it's incredible. I mean, hopefully I'll join your spaces as well, when I can. But this is such a great honor to have you, brother. And this is definitely not the only time. And whenever you guys feel like it, this is a COCORO channel. I'm a COCORO bull. And hopefully we will make a lot of people happy. And we can't promise the world. We can't promise these meme coins do whatever, but one thing we can do is, in an honest and transparent way, deliver for this community. So thank you, brother. And I look forward to having you back here.
Yeah, cheers, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for everyone who's listened in as well. Take care, man.
Take care, guys. Well, that's a wrap anyway for me and Blue Eyes, but we will be back the whole of this week. We've got crazy content, more COCORO content. I will also be at some point releasing a COCORO video, dedicated one. So look out for that, guys. And God bless you all and good night. See you on the next one.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.